Welcome to Bike Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Avenger Street 150 with its own 220cc sibling. Pricing and features. The Avenger Street 150 costs 84,000 rupees on road Delhi, which is 11,000 rupees less than both the 220cc Avengers, the Harley Davidson lookalike Street, as well as the more classy cruise version. Apart from having a bigger engine, both the street versions are more or less identical except for the color and decal options. The Cruise, on the other hand, gets bigger handlebars, a pillion backrest, and that oddball windscreen over and above the street variants. Performance and tractability. Both bikes borrow their power plants from the Pulsar family with minimal changes, if any. The bigger 220cc version is obviously quicker than the 150cc version, but by a surprisingly small margin. Moreover, the 220 is less refined and is noticeably more vibey than the 150. Also, the Avenger, being a cruiser, is not about squeezing out the last drop of performance from the bike anyways. You'll hardly ever miss the extra bit of performance of the 220 in day-to-day usage, except maybe on those rare occasions where you need to pull an overtaking maneuver on a fast-moving truck out on the highway. However, rest of the time you'll be happier on the smoother and quieter 150. Build quality and refinement. First and foremost, these new Avengers just don't have the ageless build quality that the original Eliminator had. However, the Cruise remains a relatively untouched version of the original compared to the Street, and thus has clearly superior quality parts and finish compared to the Street. The crafted quality of Cruise's chrome mirrors, tank console, exhaust, and backrest bracket has already proven that it can easily last a decade in the original Avenger. The Street, on the other hand, has been spoilt to make it look like the Harley Davidson Street 750 as much as possible, but in the process, it has received generous black powder coating, which is not even pure black but a cheap dark brown if you observe closely, while some other parts have received the fake brushed aluminum treatment, both of which definitely don't feel like they will last as long as the Cruise's chrome parts. Only good thing about the Street are the alloys, which we like more for the option of upgrading to tubeless rubber than the Cruise's spoked wheels. Handling and ride quality. The Avenger has no corner carving pretensions and it is absolutely shameless about it. It is an outright baby cruiser with aspirations of cross-country touring. It has a decent ride quality with some improvements being made by Bajaj to prevent the bottoming out tendency of the old Avenger. However, its steep rake angle and generous wheelbase, coupled with a skinny front tire and soft springs, can make it a real handful around the bends. Even its maneuverability in city traffic can be a bit of a bother, especially to riders who are used to more nimble machinery. Comfort and ergonomics. Bajaj has really messed up the ergonomics of the Street. They have fiddled with the handlebar footpeg seat triangle, which had been expertly tuned by the erstwhile Kawasaki engineers. In the enthusiasm of copying the Harley's flat handlebars, Bajaj has pushed the hand position a bit too forward, but the footpeg position is still the same, forcing the rider into an extreme hand forward, feet forward position. On long rides, it leads to an aching back and arms. The Avenger Cruise, on the other hand, retains the older ergonomics, making it far better than the Street for a long ride. Reliability and after-sales service. Bajaj bikes have always suffered a questionable record of product reliability and service support in our country. This has a hugely negative impact on their resale price, which you must make peace with if you intend to buy one of these bikes. However, amongst Bajaj's portfolio, the Avenger Street and Cruise 220 as well as the Avenger 150 are relatively reliable bikes, since they don't employ any complicated technology like triple spark, fuel injection, liquid cooling, etc. Bajaj's dealers are also not as meticulous and trustworthy as compared to its Japanese competitors, and understandably so, given the tighter margins and also because they have to deal with comparatively unreliable products in the first place. Resale and cost of ownership. The 220 is bound to depreciate more than the 150 thanks to a lower fuel efficiency, thus retaining only 5,000 of the extra 11,000 rupees paid while buying the bike compared to the 150. Thus, overall, the Avenger 150 works out to be a whopping 35,000 rupees cheaper than the 220 over an ownership period of 5 to 7 years. Which brings us to the verdict. The Avenger Cruise 150 would have been the clear winner of this test if only Bajaj had made one. But sadly, Bajaj doesn't, making it our job to pick the best compromise amongst the options available. On one hand, there's the Cruise 220 with delectable chrome bits, sorted ergonomics, and better equipment, making it a more sensible buy over the Street 220. While on the other hand, we have the Street 150 with superior refinement and fuel efficiency, not to mention the lower price tag than the 220 and alloy wheels, making it incredibly better value for money than the 220s, and thus is our pick of this test. To fix its ergonomics, we would suggest you buy a spare Avenger handlebar, get it powder coated in black, and replace the 150's flat one. That way, you could have best of the both worlds.